The film opens as Stephanie Smothers is under house arrest in Capri. She addresses viewers of her YouTube channel to bring them up to speed on what has brought her to this point. Ever since she exposed Emily Nelson and Hope McLanden for murdering her father and twin sister Faith, Stephanie has started a new true crime vlog, A Pinch of Murder, and she has had a successful run as an author after writing a book, The Faceless Blonde, about her ordeal with Emily. Her son Miles has become embarrassed by the attention that Stephanie has gotten, and it is also suggested that one man that Stephanie investigated, a swim coach who was exposed for being a pedophile and shot himself in front of her, might have been innocent. Stephanie drops Miles off at camp, along with her friend Darren and his daughter. Stephanie is later at a book signing with her assistant Vicky, plus Darren and mom friends Sona and Stacy. Detective Summerville arrives to give Stephanie some news, but Vicky pulls her up to begin her reading of her book. In the middle of the reading, the crowd is interrupted by the surprising arrival of Emily. She approaches Stephanie to taunt her about her book sales and to invite her to be the maid of honor at her upcoming wedding in Capri. Stephanie has no choice but to go since Emily threatens to sue her for using her image for her book. Stephanie and Vicky board a plane with many rich folks on the way to the wedding. Stephanie is also ordered not to have her phone out or to take pictures. Emily invites her into her room to explain to her that she is marrying Dante Versano, an Italian man who comes from a rich family and was someone that Emily used to date in the past and has recently reconnected with him. Upon arriving in Capri, Stephanie and Emily reunite with Emily's ex-husband Sean Townsend and his and Emily's son Nicky. Sean is bitter and drunk, claiming he had no choice but to bring Nicky to Emily's wedding. When Stephanie tries to take a video for her channel, she is met by guys with guns before Emily runs to intervene. The Versanos are connected to the mob, as is a rival family, the Bartolos. Their son Matteo orders Stephanie to wipe her phone, but Emily and Dante step in to quell the tension. The two then introduce Stephanie to Dante's cold mother Portia. During lunch, Emily is mortified to find that her mother Margaret has arrived with her sister, Linda, as they were brought by Portia. Margaret takes the time to call her daughter evil, and then does the same to Nicky upon meeting him. Moments later, a drunken Sean starts ranting about how both Stephanie and Emily ruined his life, and how he is petitioning for full custody of Nicky. Later at night, Sean is taking a shower when an unseen figure enters his bathroom and injects his finger with some kind of toxin. He begins to bleed from every orifice before crashing through the shower door. Meanwhile, Stephanie meets with Emily at the pool, before she goes back to the hotel and sees Nicky knocking on Sean's door. Stephanie tells him to call the housekeeper, and they discover Sean's body. Suspecting that Emily is the culprit, Stephanie follows her on the streets but sees a woman that she recognizes from the States coming close to her as well. Stephanie stops following Emily and confronts the woman, who reveals herself as FBI agent Irene Walker. She admits she is doing a bad job at following Stephanie, but Irene shows her surveillance images that she captured of Aunt Linda meeting with a woman who is believed to be Emily. They maintain their cover when Dante runs into them on the street. Stephanie later contacts Summerville to look into Linda. When Stephanie gets back to the hotel, she spots Dante and Matteo arguing. Emily and Dante get married, with Stephanie walking Emily down the aisle. During the reception, Stephanie gives a drunken toast to Emily, hinting at her potential involvement in Sean's murder. Outside, Stephanie follows Dante as he sneaks around. She sees him being confronted by an unseen figure that shoots Dante twice, causing him to fall backwards into a shed full of fireworks that explode. Portia is devastated at the loss of her son, and all eyes suddenly turn to Stephanie. Stephanie ends up under house arrest. She gets a phone call from Darren, who informs her that Miles has gotten kicked out of summer camp for taking a boat for a joyride after being dared by other kids. Stephanie is visited by Emily, whom Stephanie quickly realizes is not Emily, but actually Charity, the McLanden triplet that supposedly died in the womb. Charity cuts her hand with a knife and puts it in Stephanie's hands, alerting the authorities outside and convincing them that she is dangerous. However, Irene pays a housekeeper to help sneak Stephanie out of the hotel. First, she stops in Margaret's room to talk to her. Margaret reveals that she figured out that Charity was alive, as Linda is a con artist and faked Charity's stillbirth, raising her as her own child. Outside the hotel, Stephanie gets back in touch with Summerville, who says that Linda is dangerous and has been connected to the deaths of many men. Summerville has Stephanie meet with Irene to try and help get her out of there. Unfortunately, Charity finds them and stabs Irene in the back, once again making it look like Stephanie committed the deed. Police surround Stephanie, and she gets knocked out by an injection. At the same time, Linda goes into Margaret's room and smothers her to death with a pillow after learning she talked to Stephanie. Stephanie wakes up to find herself being interrogated by Portia. She injects Stephanie with a truth serum, which just makes her very high. Thinking that she will confess to Dante's murder, Portia questions her about it. But the most guilty confession that Stephanie can produce is feeling guilty that the swim coach might have been innocent all along. Getting nowhere, Portia orders her goons to kill Stephanie. Before they can do so, the lights go out, and the two men are knocked out. Stephanie is saved by Emily, to her surprise. After escaping, the ladies steal a Vespa and go somewhere private. Emily explains that Linda had confronted her and threatened to reveal that her marriage to Dante was a sham, as she was really just a beard for Dante's secret relationship with Matteo. When Emily refused to cut Linda in on her scheme, she brought in Charity, who drugged Emily and pretended to be her, while also having a creepy incestuous crush on her. Emily wants to get herself and Stephanie out of Capri along with Nicky, but Stephanie is intent on exposing Linda and Charity. They get a video call from Charity, who has Nicky hostage by the edge of a cliff near the hotel. Stephanie and Emily arrive to save Nicky, who has been drugged by Linda and is being held at gunpoint by her. Linda plans to frame Stephanie for Nicky's murder, and then give Emily credit for killing Stephanie so that she can be accepted by the Versanos as revenge for Dante's murder. However, when Charity realizes that Linda plans to kill Emily too, she stands in her way, leaving Nicky free. He uses his toy drone to fly it into Linda's face, giving Charity a chance to grab the gun and shoot Linda in the chest before pushing her off a cliff to her death. Charity plans to shoot Stephanie herself, but Emily appeals to Charity's love for her so Stephanie can grab the gun. Emily convinces Charity to take her place in going back to jail and taking responsibility for all the murders. Stephanie returns home with her name cleared and gets to work on her next book. She gets a phone call from Emily, who asks her to look after Nicky until she can see him again. Stephanie agrees. Emily is then visited by Portia, who knows Emily was innocent and that her marriage to Dante was always a sham. Emily reassures Portia that she always loved Dante as a friend. Portia welcomes her into the family, but first, she hands her an envelope with rings inside, requesting a simple favor from Emily. She accepts,